Alright, so David has requested that we get a video showing a Tigerwrap from the beginning to the end, and this will be the first part here. I'm going to do the base layer of this tiger. So I did a scale wrap down here, and then I'm going to do a Tigerwrap in between where the first guide will be and the second guide. I don't know if you can see my marks here, but so this area, this little short area here, is going to be the tiger. The colors I'm going to use are going to be blue, navy blue, this kind of orangish gold, and then neon hunter orange here. So generally the easiest way to do this is you start your wrap like you normally would. Pick whatever color it is you want to use. I would use the main color for whatever wrap it is that you're going to be doing as the color that you start with. So all of my under wraps going up the blank are going to be with this hunter orange, in which I'm going to marble over it. If you've seen my other rods, you typically know that that's what I do. So I started with the hunter orange, then I've got my Madeira gold, whatever you want to call that, and my 245 blue from Good Broad. So I'm just going to start this like an inlay, except the threads are still connected to the spools. So that's the only real difference here from doing a regular inlay, is that the threads are still connected to the spools. So what I want to do is I want to start them untwisted, and I'm just going to take my gold and I'm going to inlay it here, and then my blue is going to sit on the inside of that. So I'm going to do that next. So those have started there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten this up here. I'm going to tighten up the blue first, since it's on the inside, and then I'm going to tighten up the gold. There we go. Now, to get this started, I'm trying to get as close as I can here with my GoPro. I'm going to put my thumb here, and I'm going to lift, and I'm going to lay it in, slide my carriage over, and keep my thumb on it, and do the first wrap. Until I get over the end. Now I can let go. Get a couple turns. There. Now we're started. Everything's locked in. It's not going to go anywhere. Now I'm going to take these two tag ends, cut them off. Now I'm just going to wrap. I'm going to go a little bit past my mark right here. I'm not going to stop right at it, just so I have a little bit of room to work with here. So now with the Renzetti, it's nice because everything pretty much stays separate. The threads don't cross on their own, which with other machines can be a huge pain in the ass. So if you have one of those other machines, I don't really have any words of advice. You can try using a comb, holding the comb in your hand to keep the threads separate. All I know is that everything stays nice and separate with this machine. So you could do it by hand if that's more comfortable for you. I do it under power. One thing though I do not do is I do not use a burnishing tool. I don't want to pack this. I want it to be loose. That'll allow me to burnish it and get some more movement out of my pattern. So I'm going to just wrap it, and we'll see how this goes. If you notice a couple like gaps like right here, another one like right there, a little one, I'm not concerned about it because all this is going to get burnished, so all that will be taken care of. It's not a big deal. It's not going to affect anything. So this first layer is wrapped left to right. So I will have to remember that, so when I do the next layer, I'm going to be wrapping it right to left. You need to do that, otherwise you just get stripes. If you don't go the opposite direction, you won't get any of the cool tiger patterns. And I've at my mark, and go up just a few turns there. So this is where my guide ring is going to sit, and then the wrap is going to end at this mark here. Slide this up a little bit. So now to tie it off, it's just like an inlay. I'm going to pull my orange thread out to the side. I'm going to come over, push down on the orange thread. I just put the other two on top of my finger, cut them long. They're locked in, they're not going anywhere. Get a couple turns just to make sure it's locked in. Pull it up tight. Cut this. And now I'm going to wrap to my next mark. Just making sure I was on the bottom of the rod. Now for the burnishing. Jimmy Villalobos or Villalobos, I think Villalobos is the gringo way of saying it. Villalobos, he does a really nice video on how to do the burnishing. I generally do what he does. So I want a lot of wave patterns. I don't want all one direction, or I don't want them straight. That's not going to give me any of that action in the tiger pattern. So what I'll do is I usually take like an inch section and I'll go one direction. Not that terrible boy man. So I just go one direction like that, to the right, rotate a little bit, go to the left. A little bit to the right, to the left. So now if you look, if you can see it, it's basically going back and forth. So then when I move over to the next inch, this was to the right, this one will go to the left. So I want them to alternate going down. That gives me, you know, more of a wave. And after this, I'm going to put some CP on it. And then once the CP dries, I'll do a coat of finish, maybe 2. And then it'll be for the top layer. And you guys know how to put finish on, so the next video I show will be doing the top layer.